All right, guys, today we are actually in my office because we are actually going to be breaking down areas outside of the city of Redding where you could buy with zero money down. Hey guys, I'm Faith Barrett, your local guide to everything here in Redding, California. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today is all about a map tour outside of the city of Redding because truthfully, as you move here or consider moving here, there are different areas outside of the city of Redding that offer a different lifestyle. So today we're gonna go a little bit on the outskirts and give you an idea and a perspective of what that lifestyle offers, as well as price point, and then also break down what USDA does in our area. Now, if you've never heard of USDA, it is 100% financing that you as a first-time home buyer or even as somebody who currently doesn't own a home can qualify for. This is only for rural area. And this is 100% financing, like I said. There are restrictions to the program, and mainly it centers around your income limits. So a household 1 to 4, now this is anybody that makes income in the household has to be less than $114,500. So that's a household of 1 to 4. Now, if you're a family size of 5 to 8, that income has to be less than $151,250. So each county, as you move outside of Shasta County, is going to have different income limits, but here in Shasta County, that is our requirement. Now, the other thing is for you as a buyer considering USDA, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but you cannot own a home when utilizing the USDA loan program. The second thing is that credit score can be as low as 580. However, on average, 6 to roughly 700, that range is where USDA clients land in. If you are in a credit score of 580, talking with some of my lenders, usually it requires a manual underwriting process. So it's a little bit more of an in-depth process, but it can be done. So overall, the rules and facts about USDA is income limits, especially in Shasta County, understanding that, your credit score, and the fact that you don't currently own a home. So let's break down the outskirts area of Redding to really understand what different areas like Shasta Lake, Anderson, and Cottonwood, those are going to be our 3 that we talk about, could offer in lifestyle, price point, and possibly an opportunity for you to call Redding or even Shasta County home. So before we start this map tour, I kind of want to give you a layout of what defines the city of Redding. Now, this is a little bit of a messy map, especially if you aren't familiar with our area, but if you are ever concerned when moving here, does this qualify, for USDA, you can always go to usda.gov. They have a map. You can actually physically search the home address and see if it qualifies for a USDA purchase. But the city of Redding is basically defined by these red lines. You can go to Google Maps and kind of see what is defined as the city of Redding. And you're going to see mainly that obviously the city of Redding encompasses this area. However, there is still certain parts of Redding like Lake Keswick Estates, Keswick area, that if you were to look on our, Zillow and homes and inventory that we have, you might see homes that say Redding on there that still actually do qualify for a USDA purchase. However, I will say as we get a little bit more on the outskirts of the city of Redding and we still are technically in Redding, those price points can vary that sometimes a USDA buyer won't be able to qualify for. On average, I see that those that utilize the USDA loan program in our area are going to land somewhere between the mid 300 to maybe a little bit the lower end of the 300,000. So oftentimes the Keswick Dam area, upper areas here, it can be a little bit mixed trying to find a price point specific to what you can qualify with the USDA. Now on the outskirts over here on the west side where there's Grant, there's Centerville, there's just kind of a little bit this more rural area. This is a little bit more of our luxury side of west side living, especially on the countryside, that can sometimes land very high price points that a USDA buyer rarely would ever be able to qualify for. Again, as we kind of move on the city of Redding map, we're going to go through 3 locations, that being Shasta Lake, Anderson, and Cottonwood. So I might toggle between those maps so you can kind of get a really defined line of what it lands for you, but let's start the tour with Shasta Lake. I actually live in Shasta Lake. It's really easy commute. From the I-5, you can literally get on the I-5 and be downtown in the Redding area and to local amenities within 10 to 12 minutes. Like I've said from the very beginning with this idea of moving to Redding, our commute is really sometimes a joke to some people coming from a larger city area like LA, San Diego, the Bay Area, because what we consider traffic is nothing compared to what a lot of people experience. And so there's just a lot of easy ways that you can live outside of the city of Redding. You can have a little bit of a slower lifestyle, but have the benefits of maybe a lower purchase price that helps your dollar go a little bit farther. So I live in Shasta Lake. I've lived here probably for about 8 years. What we love about Shasta Lake is the lifestyle it gives. A fun fact, Shasta Lake actually has its own utilities company. So a couple months ago, we broke down what utilities look like here in our area, from PG&E to the city of Redding and things you consider. And Shasta Lake itself actually has its own utilities company, which we have found very beneficial to be a bit more affordable compared to the PG&E rates, as well as the Redding electricity that you might experience in the city of Redding. Now, obviously, house to house, it's going to matter how efficient your home is, insulation, all those things. But overall, we have found that our utilities is pretty lower compared to other people that we discuss and talk with, especially being in the city of Redding or even in the PG&E area. So right over here is the Shasta Lake area. So anything in Shasta Lake is USDA approved. Shasta Lake is getting a huge development, and I promise that in the near future, we'll do a whole breakdown of it. But K2 Development, which is a huge development center here in our area, has been revitalizing the downtown of Shasta Lake. So Shasta Dam Boulevard is where a lot of people, I find, if you're a first-time home buyer or somebody utilizing the USDA, will land, because there's just a lot of great purchase opportunities here in the city of Shasta Lake. With being downtown here in the Shasta Lake, you have Century Market, you have Heritage Coffee Shop, you have a little bit of different local pizza spots. There is a CVS for your pharmacy needs. There's a post office. I mean, it's a really small, little, tight-knit community, but there's a lot of development and growth going on that's helping people be excited about the potential of Shasta Lake. Now, if you visit Shasta Dam Boulevard, there is a lot of vacant buildings. There's vacant office buildings, there are vacant commercial buildings, and there's just been kind of this opportunity that people have been waiting for people to come in and kind of revitalize it. So K2 currently right now is building out apartment complexes and different commercial spaces to really pull in better traffic to the Shasta Lake area to revitalize it and improve it. The other thing that a lot of people utilize in Shasta Lake is just the proximity to Shasta Lake itself. So from Shasta Lake, you have the Shasta Dam, which is, the largest water reservoir here in our area. And you also can have access to a lot of great trails over there for biking, mountain biking as well. So here up on this area, you can actually type in, here's the Shasta Dam over here. So from Shasta Lake to the Shasta Dam area, you're maybe roughly 5 minutes. From Shasta Dam, we always launch over here at the Santa Moody boat launch, and you can get access to Shasta Lake really easily. If you are somebody who loves to go dirt biking, quads, all those kinds of fun activities out in more of a rural setting, a lot of people will cross over the Shasta Dam Bridge and then get access over here. There's a lot of bike racing that happens over here, which has been really fun for our area, but a lot of activity happens on the other side of the Shasta Dam. But over here is our Shasta Dam. You can walk it, you can enjoy nature, you can experience kind of taking the humor is the dam tour and seeing what it offers in our area, understanding the history of it. But this is a huge draw to the Shasta Lake area. Like I said, the lake obviously is the golden ticket to living in Shasta Lake, to go fishing, boating, just enjoying it. I will say that Shasta Lake is not really a place that you would go to sit on a beach and hang out. It's a little bit more of a of a lake that you would pull a kayak or a boat out to really get into really great areas of Shasta Lake. If you were really wanting a beach lifestyle, it would be more Whiskeytown Lake, which is on the east side. Now there is different parts of Shasta Lake that you can get a little bit of access of beach, kind of your typical lake beach vibes, but predominantly Whiskeytown Lake is known for that lifestyle. So with Shasta Lake, like I said, you have the USDA eligibility here. On average, the median sales price is going to be roughly around $313,000. You can find a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house easily for high 2s, pushing a little bit into low 3s, depending on the improvements. And sometimes you can just find smaller properties that are like middle of the 200,000 range that still offer a great opportunity, especially if you're not looking for something super big and massive and, you know, easy to move in. So that's Shasta Lake. Lots of great lifestyle. Like I said, very easy commute to downtown. You just jump on the I-5 and you head on downtown, and it's an easy way to connect with your daily amenities if you were working in Redding or were trying to get to other local amenities like Costco, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, etc. So moving from Shasta Lake, we touch across over onto the east side. Now again, in the very beginning of starting Rooted in Redding, we kind of explained Redding as divided by the I-5 and crossing of 299/44. So 44 turns into 299. And so this is how we define the west side versus the east side. So west side, east side. So moving over to the east side, this area, which is kind of our Jones Valley area, is considered USDA approved. So kind of toggling back over to the city of Redding map, you're gonna have Tier Oaks, which is a gated golf course community here in our area, and everything outside of this area is considered USDA. I will say that this is a way that if country living is really important to you, being on property 3-5 acres, you definitely can sometimes find something out here. It's a little bit more of patience game because not all properties are going to hit that USDA price point. But as we get a little bit in the Bear Mountain, Jones Valley area, Jones Valley offers a lot of different unique opportunities for this price point and these buyers coming in trying to purchase something with the USDA. But the challenge that comes with living in this more rural area is going to be the fire insurance. This is definitely considered a high fire zone. And so there is a fire station in Jones Valley, which does help, but just be prepared that if this is an area that you are interested in, most likely before putting an offer in, you should definitely understand what the insurance cost is going to be, because it could be a little bit of an adjustment if you're not used to what that quote could be. Now, for those living in Jones Valley, you definitely can connect again to Shasta Lake. So Shasta Lake is a massive lake, and there's different avenues and ways that you can connect to the Shasta Lake area through Jones Valley, through Shasta Lake itself, through different arms of off the I-5 like Bridge Bay. But this is another reason why people live in Jones Valley is access to the lake. And then also just the lifestyle of being a little bit of country property, but having the capability of utilizing the USDA loan to work in your favor. Now, outside in this area for utilities, because we are outside the city of Shasta Lake, this will be considered PG&E. Most likely you're going to be on some kind of water district, a well, for your water, so water district or well, and then for waste, you're most likely going to be septic, and then for utilities, you're 100% going to be PG&E. So as we move down and we come down, there's again multiple little areas and avenues, but on average, this is where I most see our clientele land if they're in the USDA kind of bracket, is Anderson. So as you come down I-5, you're going to cut through the city of Redding, obviously, but Anderson is an area that a lot of people like to live. Again, when you are outside the city of Redding, your dollar is going to go much farther. Now, the attractions to the city of Anderson is the Anderson River Park. It's a huge river park. It has a splash pad. There's soccer fields. I mean, it's just a big attraction to a lot of people who live inside the city of Anderson. In the downtown aspect of Anderson. You have a Safeway, you have the fairgrounds. So during July and June, we typically have a lot of events down in Anderson because of the fairgrounds, which creates a huge draw down there. But the Anderson River Park and being by the Sacramento River, but not having to pay an extraordinary amount of money to live in Anderson is a huge attraction. Your price point in Anderson for a first-time home buyer or somebody utilizing the USDA is going to be somewhere around probably about $280 would probably be a decent, reasonable home, all the way to the low 300s. I will say that Anderson does have older homes, so things to consider is just the heating and cooling systems in these homes. A lot of people, when they move to the Redding area, forget that we do have higher heat temperatures, especially in the summertime. And so these older homes in Anderson are great and they look great price point wise, but oftentimes when you look at their cooling mechanisms, it's swamp cooler, or for heating, it's a furnace. And so sometimes the efficiency of these homes can be a little bit of a turn off to buyers in this price point. Not all the older homes will have those types of units. Some have upgraded to central HVAC systems, but I always guide my first time home buyers or people in this price point to look and say, hey, is this a deal breaker, or could you live with this? Because when it becomes, hot temperatures, it could, correlate to more muggier air with the swamp cooler. And when it's cold, it's gonna run with a higher energy bill because you're using electric when it's furnace. So city of Anderson is a great area that a lot of people look in. And then on the outskirts, again, most likely it would be a little bit more challenging, but could be achievable depending on your expectations of your price point and what you're trying to achieve. Happy Valley is like the countryside of Anderson. There are other pockets of Anderson. On average, for our market summary that I pulled in January, on average, our sales price in Anderson is $403. But the problem is we pull so much of country properties, larger properties sitting over on Balls Ferry Road, that can drive that average sales price up. But for in the city of Anderson, like I talked about, you probably could find something around 280 to low 300s that could work for your needs. For the outside area in the country, if living in the country is really important, Happy Valley, sorry, my map is going a little crazy. Happy Valley is a great area to consider. I just say it's a bit of a more mixed residential use. You're gonna have mobile homes, you're gonna have manufactured homes, you're gonna have nice homes. Again, high fire zone, definitely an area to really know before you get involved, what is that insurance going to cost you? Because some policies that I've seen buyers get into are a bit hefty and can really tip over whether or not it makes sense to live in that area for the lifestyle you're trying to achieve. So in Anderson, those are a couple of the highlights of it. And then as we come down a little bit more, you're gonna reach into Cottonwood. So from Anderson to Redding, you're maybe 12 to maybe 15 minutes. I guess it depends who's driving. For Cottonwood, you're probably about 15 to maybe 20 minutes. Again, depends who's driving, to get access. So in the city or in the town of Cottonwood, it's a super cool older country town. We have a holiday market center. We've talked a lot about the holiday market center and what they provide. This was actually here in Cottonwood. This was actually the original starting holiday market center was actually here in Cottonwood. And actually, really fun fact, if you just wanna, we're just gonna go a little off topic. Right over here is the gas station that just sold the billion dollar lottery ticket here in Cottonwood. So fun fact, we landed ourselves on the map in Cottonwood based on the fact that this gas station sold the billion dollar mega ticket, lottery ticket, and the winner actually was from Cottonwood, which was pretty cool. Anyway, side note, but as you come down to Cottonwood, again, you're gonna kind of have like the city of Cottonwood, which is gonna be right here. A lot of people love Cottonwood just because it's slower pace and there's just like a sense of really strong community for the roots of it. It's very agricultural based, farm life out here. And so a lot of people love the lifestyle of Cottonwood. In here, I will say living in the city of Cottonwood is gonna become, I say city, but the town of Cottonwood is gonna become a little bit mixed. Most of the time we find that the USDA kind of land around in this area. Some of them are really cute, charming homes. The last one I sold was over off of Fox Hunt Drive here, and the price point was about $309, $315. And again, can offer a really great lifestyle, just a little bit of slower paced living, but in Cottonwood. As you get outside of Cottonwood into like outskirts of these areas, your price point is probably going to move you past what a USDA purchaser could qualify for, just based on the fact that a lot of people love and value Cottonwood for the land, and it tends to just drive the price up. In Cottonwood, you have a holiday market center, you have multiple gas stations. You can definitely do life and community here in Cottonwood. And for those kind of wondering where we would land, I'm gonna try this real quick. Costco. Let's see if it gives me it. Oh, if it doesn't, okay, well, I'll just drive you to it. Woo. Okay, so just a little bit of a perspective too is that if you live in Cottonwood, let's say you live in Anderson too, right here, we talked about the different developments that came into Redding. Right here is where the new Costco Center is. So if you live outside in Anderson or Cottonwood, you're maybe 10 or 12 minutes to the newest Costco, which has a gas station. There's multiple different amenities from Safe Mart, Jamba Juice, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, all these different kind of amenities to really enhance and add value to your life. Obviously, if you live in Shasta Lake, it's going to be a little bit more of a commute. But like I said, if you're coming from the Bay Area, LA, down south, our 10-15 minute commute is going to feel nothing to you. So overall, I hope that this map tour was helpful in understanding just different areas to consider, especially if you're wanting to purchase a home with 0% down, and seeing if you qualify for that one, loan product, and two, if it just even the lifestyle of living outside the city matches what you're looking for. There's other areas that we're well known for country living, for different lifestyles that people look for when they come to our area. And that's the beauty about Redding, is that you're not just the city of Redding, you have great areas that you could alternatively live like I do to still have a great lifestyle here. As always, I'm Faith Barrett, your local guide to everything here in Redding. And if you're new and you're thinking about making Redding your next home, I'd love to be your resource, especially if you'd like to utilize the USDA program or other loan options that we have here in our area that could make finding your next home super easy. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.